Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back. So, getting our morning fasted cardio in per se. Day number 94. Well, 94 to go now. So, feeling pretty good this morning. Energy, doing great. We weighed in 210 even. So, we've got another pound and 3/4 to go to get back to where we were last Thursday, before we went off the rails with everything. But that shouldn't be too bad of a thing. It being Tuesday today, probably thinking we'll end up back at that 208.25 on Thursday itself. So we only really lost a week. Now, did we really lose a week, or did we make some gains over this week, even though, we went up in weight? And technically, that could have been a week we spent getting lighter. We'll find out. But definitely don't think detrimental in any sorts. Now, there was definitely no cheat meals coming up, refeed meals, any of that, until thinking day 75. And then we'll have one at day 50. And then depending upon how things are looking, probably day 30 itself. But we'll find out when we get to that 30-day out mark. Now, I can definitely tell you the basics is what's really going to keep us on track at this point. The basics meaning, what's the most simple food you can make with simple ingredients. So one, it keeps your calories down, keeps your prep time down. For the most part, will keep you pretty much eating pretty consistent. So, you got your meats. So in this case, it's going to be, ground beef, 93% lean, or, like a sirloin steak, where you're going to have your chicken breast, your tuna, you do some yellowtail, something like that. And you're going to have like your potatoes, obviously, your rice. And that's kind of where my carbs are going to come from on that. Whether it's cream of rice, white rice, brown rice, jasmine rice, it doesn't matter much. And, potatoes, whether it's russet or sweet potatoes, the calories are the same. The difference is the glycemic index isn't spiking or anything. So then that kind of more comes into leaving the basics and going into complexity of carb timing, glucose spiking, and all that stuff. So, for the purpose of this, that doesn't matter. Just eat some potatoes. You could also have yams if you like yams. And then, you've got your broccoli, your asparagus, do some carrots. All great for fiber. And then, some simple homemade sauces for stuff that you can make that are low calorie. That's going to be a preference. For the most part these days, kind of really just like hot sauce. find a lot of 0-calorie hot sauces that fit whatever flavor profile you're kind of looking for. So it's super simple. Then when it comes to training, you're never going to beat the basics. Get a basic heavy press, a basic isolated press, a basic stretching motion for the muscle. So for example, let's look at chest. Hit your bench press. Basic compound press. Then you can go to machine press. Basic isolated pressing. Then you can go to cable fly machine, whatever, stretching. You can kind of do the same for every single muscle group. So it's not very hard. Pick those 3 movements, hit your sets to failure, and you move on. Now, the part that gets kind of hard when it comes to basics that people forget, water. Have to take in your water. Minimum 3/4 gallon. Preferably a gallon. If you're in some hot weather, dry sauna, things like that, gallon, 1/4 gallon, half should be your goal. Not very hard. You could do it as water, or you could do it as like home brewed tea. I make my own tea at home because just drinking plain water all day is boring. So I make a tea that per gallon, 6 bags Earl Grey, 4 bags of chamomile, 3 bags of hibiscus, 2 bags of ginger. It's all there to help with gut health and metabolism. So, can't really go wrong with it. Then the most basic thing of all that people mess up. Go to sleep. Stop scrolling for 2-3 hours before bed. Knock that shit off. Sleep is the most basic thing you can literally do. You do nothing. You're just existing. Get that, 7 to 9 hours. I'm not saying you got to be sleeping, 10, 12 hours a day. But you really got to shoot for that minimum 7. 8 is great. 9 is better. So, but a lot of people stay up scrolling. Only end up sleeping 5 hours. So, if you can't get the basic part of just sleeping right, what are we doing? Come on. So, following those basics there, you can make enormous progress. 30 to 60 days for anybody, even 90 days. And for most people, between that 60 and 90 day mark, most of you are going to reach a point to where you haven't been at it in a very long time, if ever, of recent history. So, it is drastic, the difference you can make by just following the basics. So you don't have to worry about all this like science-based lifting shit, science-based nutrition, bro science this or that. Just do the simple shit. It'll make you progress. The hardest part about following the simple shit is it's not mentally stimulating. So you have to keep to your goal and want to make that progress versus giving in to whatever impulse you're having. So if you can beat that basic impulse drive, the sky's the limit in reality. And it kind of applies to everything, right? Like, a lot of people overthink things in their job and shit all the time. But if you just go back to the basics, 95% of the shit you got to do at work is covered all within it. It's very rare that you really have to go above the basic process of something. But with that, guys, make sure you're out there working for your goals, get your stuff done. Most of all, just don't be a lazy fuck.